Hi students, welcome to the English class. We are going to read the lesson His First Flight by Liam O'Flaherty. The lesson is about the first flight of a young seagull. Listen to the summary of the lesson. A young seagull was alone on a ledge. He was afraid to fly. His parents scolded him and threatened to let him starve, but the thought of his life did not allow him to fly. His parents, brothers, and sister laughed at his cowardice. He was very hungry. He was unable to reach his parents. The sight of a piece of fish maddened him. He begged his mother to bring him over some food. She picked up a piece of fish and flew near him. Maddened by hunger, he dived at the fish. He fell outwards and downwards into space. His mother flew upwards. A terror seized him for a moment. He did not fall. He flapped his wings and flew upwards. He had made his first flight. He uttered a delightful scream. Necessity is the mother of invention. Let us read the lesson. See the first paragraph. Listen to me. The young seagull was alone on his ledge. His two brothers and his sister had already flown away the day before. He had been afraid to fly with them. Somehow, when he had taken a little run forward to the brink of the ledge and attempted to flap his wings, he became afraid. The great expanse of sea stretched down beneath, and it was such a long way down, miles down. He felt certain that his wings would never support him. So he bent his head and ran away back to the little hole under the ledge where he slept at night. Underline the words flown, brink, expanse, and beneath. Flown is the past participle of fly. Fly, flew, flown. Brink means edge. Expanse refers to a wide area. Beneath means under. Beneath opposite above. We can answer the question, why did the seagull fail to fly? The seagull failed to fly because he was afraid to fly. We shall read the second paragraph. Even when each of his brothers and his little sister, whose wings were far shorter than his own, ran to the brink, flapped their wings, and flew away, he failed to muster up courage to take that plunge which appeared to him so desperate. His father and mother had come around, calling to him shrilly, scolding him, threatening to let him starve on his ledge unless he flew away. But for the life of him he could not move. Underline the words flapped, muster up, desperate, and starve. Flap is to move quickly up and down. Flap, flapped, flapped. Muster up is to gather. Desperate is hopeless. Starve is to suffer without food. We can answer the question, what did the parents do when the seagull failed to fly? When the seagull failed to fly, his parents scolded him and threatened to let him starve. We shall read the third paragraph. That was 24 hours ago. Since then, nobody had come near him. The day before, all day long, He had watched his parents flying about with his brothers and sister, perfecting them in the art of flight, teaching them how to skim the waves and how to dive for fish. He had, in fact, seen his older brother catch his first herring and devour it, standing on a rock, while his parents circled around, raising a proud cackle. And all the morning, the whole family had walked about on the big plateau, midway down the opposite cliff, laughing at his cowardice. Underline the words perfecting, skim, midway, and cowardice. Perfecting is making perfect. Skim is to move or fly lightly over a surface. Midway is halfway. Cowardice is lack of courage. We learned that his parents, brothers, and sister laughed at his cowardice. We shall read the fourth paragraph. The sun was now ascending the sky, blazing warmly on his ledge that faced the south. He felt the heat because he had not eaten since the previous nightfall. Then he had found a dried piece of mackerel's tail at the far end of his ledge. Now there was not a single scrap of food left. He had searched every inch, rooting among the rough, dirt-caked straw nest where he and his brothers and sister had been hatched. He even gnawed at the dried pieces of eggshell. It was like eating a part of himself. Underline the words ascending, scrap, and hatch. Ascending is going up. Ascending opposite descending. Scrap is a small piece of something. Hatch is to come out of an egg. Hatch, hatched, hatched. We can answer the questions. What was the first catch of the young seagull's older brother, and what did the young seagull manage to find in his search for food on the ledge? A herring was the first catch of the young seagull's older brother. The young seagull managed to find a dried piece of mackerel's tail and dried pieces of eggshell in his search for food on the ledge. See the first paragraph in page 3. Listen to me. He then trotted back and forth from one end of the ledge to the other, his long grey legs stepping daintily, trying to find some means of reaching his parents without having to fly. But on each side of him, the ledge ended in a sheer fall of precipice with the sea beneath, and between him and his parents there was a deep, wide crack. Underline the word daintily. Daintily means carefully. See the next paragraph. Listen to me. Surely he could reach them without flying if he could only move northwards along the cliff face. But then on what could he walk? There was no ledge and he was not a fly. And above him he could see nothing. The precipice was sheer, and the top of it was perhaps farther away than the sea beneath him. Underline the word sheer. Sheer means very steep. See the next paragraph. Listen to me. He stepped slowly out to the brink of the ledge and standing on one leg with the other leg hidden under his wing, he closed one eye, then the other, and pretended to be falling asleep. Still, they took no notice of him. He saw his two brothers and his sister lying on the plateau dozing, with their heads sunk into their necks. His father was preening the feathers on his white back. Only his mother was looking at him. Underline the words pretended, dozing, and sunk. Pretend is to make believe. Pretend, pretended, pretended. Pretension is noun form. Pretentious is adjectival form. Dozing means sleeping lightly. Sunk is the past participle of sink. Sink is to go under. Sink, sank, sunk. We can answer the question, what did the young bird do to seek the attention of his parents? The young bird pretended to be falling asleep to seek the attention of his parents. See the last paragraph in page 3. She was standing on a little high hump on the plateau, her white breast thrust forward. Now and again she tore at a piece of fish that lay at her feet, and then scraped each side of her beak on the rock. The sight of the food maddened him. How he loved to tear food that way, scraping his beak now and again to wet it. He uttered a low cackle. His mother cackled too and looked at him. Underline the words thrust and tore. Thrust is to push with force. Thrust, thrust, thrust. Tore is the past tense form of tear. Tear, tore, torn. Answer the question, what made the young seagull go mad? The young seagull was hungry. The sight of the food made him go mad. See the first paragraph in page 4. Ga, 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 he cried, begging her to bring him over some food. Ga, loo, wah, she screamed back mockingly, but he kept calling plaintively, and after a minute or so he uttered a joyful scream. His mother had picked up a piece of fish and was flying across to him with it. He leaned out eagerly, tapping the rock with his feet, trying to get nearer to her as she flew across. But when she was just opposite to him, abreast of the ledge, she halted, her legs hanging limp, her wings motionless, the piece of fish in her beak almost within reach of his beak. Underline the words mockingly, abreast, halted, and motionless. Mockingly means ridiculously. Abreast means next to somebody or something. Halt is to stop. Halt, halted, halted. Motionless means not moving. Why did the young bird utter a joyful scream? The young bird uttered a joyful scream because his mother had picked up a piece of fish and was flying across to him with it. See the next paragraph. He waited a moment in surprise, wondering why she did not come nearer. and then, maddened by hunger, he dived at the fish. With a loud scream, he fell outwards and downwards into space. His mother had swooped upwards. As he passed beneath her, he heard the swish of her wings. Did the mother bird offer any food to the young bird? No, the mother bird did not offer any food to the young bird. See the next paragraph. Then a monstrous terror seized him, and his heart stood still. He could hear nothing, but it only lasted a moment. The next moment, he felt his wings spread outwards. The wind rushed against his breast feathers, then under his stomach and against his wings. He could feel the lips of his wings. He could feel the tips of his wings cutting through the air. He was not falling headlong now. He was soaring gradually downwards and outwards. He was no longer afraid. He just felt a bit dizzy. Then he flapped his wings once and he soared upwards. Underline the words monstrous, terror, seize, and soared. Monstrous means very large, ugly, and frightening. Terror is a feeling of extreme fear. Seize is to arrest or capture. Seize, seized, seized. Soar is to fly high in the air. So, soared, soared. See the next paragraph. He uttered a joyous scream and flapped them again. He soared higher. He raised his breast and banked against the wind. Ga, ga, ga. Ga, ga, ga. Galula. His mother swooped past him, her wings making a loud noise. He answered her with another scream. Then his father flew over him screaming. Then he saw his two brothers and sister flying around him, soaring and diving. How did the bird feel when it started flying for the first time? The bird felt joyful when it started flying for the first time. What did the young bird's family do when he started flying? When the young bird started flying, his mother swooped past him, her wings making a loud noise. His father flew over him screaming. His two brothers and sister were flying around him, soaring and diving. See the next paragraph. Then he completely forgot that he had not always been able to fly and commenced to dive and soar, shrieking shrilly. Underline the word commenced. Commence is to begin. Commence, commenced, commenced. Commence opposite end. See the next paragraph. He was near the sea now, flying straight over it, facing out over the ocean. He saw a vast green sea beneath him, with little ridges moving over it. He turned his beak sideways and crowed amusedly. His parents and his brothers and sister had landed on this green floor in front of him. They were beckoning to him, calling shrilly. He dropped his legs to stand on the green sea. His legs sank into it. He screamed with fright and attempted to rise again, flapping his wings. But he was tired and weak with hunger, and he could not rise, exhausted by the strange exercise. His feet sank into the green sea, and then his belly touched it, and he sank no farther. He was floating on it, and around him his family was screaming, praising him, and their beaks were offering him scraps of dogfish. Underline the words crowed and exhausted. Crow is to make repeated loud high sounds. Crow, crowed, crowed. Exhausted means very tired. He had made his first flight. Thank you.